Hope there's no lag. I mean, there shouldn't be any lag at all. We should be perfectly fine here. Gotta make sure my live stream here is going good here. Close out of that. Maybe this will be better here. Yes, we haven't dropped any frames. Alrighty guys, it looks to be consistent here. My name is Allgas TV, and today we're going to get into my mock draft 2.0. This should be my last mock draft before the draft, as the NFL draft is exactly 8 days away. We're going to go from pick number 1, we're going to talk, which is the Cleveland Browns, all the way down to pick number 32, which is the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to talk about their needs and my prediction on who they're going to draft. Should be pretty interesting here, and I hope you guys do enjoy. If you do enjoy this, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button. There could be more topics here about the draft. I know draft night, I could be playing first round draft night. I am planning on doing like a live stream and a live reaction of the picks, so that's gonna be a long stream. But let's get into it. Alrighty. So all 32 teams, I have written down a pick. I have typed into here a pick. I have their needs. I have everything written down here. I am ready for this. Let's get into it. So Roger Goodell in exactly 8 days and probably in 8 minutes to the actual hour here, we'll be going up to the podium and introducing the NFL draft here and saying the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. And as my dog starts barking here, let's go ahead and talk about it here. So the Cleveland Browns have some needs here. They need some offensive line help. They need some cornerback help. And they need some quarterback help here. Many teams believe that they don't have the desired quarterback on their roster right now to proceed with them in the future. Many say good old Sir, what's his name? Tyrod Taylor's a bridge quarterback. I believe they can get a couple years at Tyrod Taylor and it'll be perfectly fine. But I'm going to be one of those few, and I'm going to go ahead and agree with these guys that quarterback's in need. Cornerback, they don't really have a true one cornerback here. I'm going to go ahead and move my camera real quick, guys. Kind of in like an awkward place. Alright, right there seems a tad bit better. I'll move it over here more. Even though I'm going to be looking into this direction. Yeah, let's put it right here. Things you should figure out before you stream. Camera placement. Maybe if I set it down like this right here. Okay, so I can look down more. Let's see if we can straighten this out at all. Let's see. And then it gets my mic in there. Huh. Yeah, we gotta move it back up here. I feel bad because I'm literally having to look up here. Maybe I can move my chair up. It's all the way up now, so maybe that's a little bit better. But I feel like I want to be talking to you guys, and I feel like I'm not doing that. So here we go. Back to the Browns. So we were talking about quarterback and how they feel like Tyrod Taylor's not quarterback for them. And then we're getting into conversation about cornerback, and they don't really have a true one corner on the roster. I mean, they have Jamar Taylor, they have Breeden Brody, they have Calhoun, they have some cornerbacks there. To me, those two positions are positions in need. And last but not least, offensive line. As Joe Thomas retired, you need someone to protect the left line here. This is the second year in a row they held the number one position. If they don't take the correct player at this position, I feel like it can be dreading it for years to come. So with pick number 1 in the NFL draft, they probably gave this tad bit of consideration here, because this is a really, really dire need for them to pick correctly here, unlike in past years. I have the Cleveland Browns selecting, that's a tad bit better, selecting Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC. I believe Sam Darnold is one of the guys you can develop better here in this year's draft. Do I believe he's the most pro-ready? No, I believe Josh Rosen's the most pro-ready. But I feel like they could go ahead and succeed here with Sam Darnold here in the future. Give him some time to develop. And possibly add another receiver to the receiving corps as Dez Bryant is a free agent. Putting him here, you have Josh Gordon right now, and you do have Jarvis Landry. Plus David Njoku can develop. I feel like going quarterback here at number 1 is a smart choice. I agree with most people's mock draft. Some people have him taking Josh Allen, but I don't feel like Josh Allen is number 1 pick worthy. Sam Darnold to me is one of the more ready quarterbacks here. You have to go back to 2 years ago when he led the USC out of nowhere. Last year he was making plays at the beginning of the year to the receivers he wasn't comfortable with. And I do believe this guy here is going to be a player to be reckoned with years to come. Some people say he could be like Andrew Luck and should be guaranteed to go number 1, but I don't believe guaranteed number 1. I did have a couple of people here at choice. I did have offensive line here. I did have a running back here. I had many players here before, and I feel like this pick here, having Sam Darnold number 1 is the right choice. With that pick being in, that puts the New York Giants on the clock. And the Giants have some needs too. After finishing the year going from top 2 in the division to the bottom of the division, I feel like they need to fulfill some needs here. They have needs of running back, offensive line, and quarterback. Now, this pick here is going to be a huge surprise, as rumors have been, spilling around here. They're thinking of this guy here at number 2. This guy here is one of the best players in the NFL draft. I believe if he does go here, he is going to be a player to cause havoc. Got the word organization here in the NFL, notably in the NFC East, where he has to play He has to play the Eagles twice a year. They can cause him problems. And this guy here is truly an amazing prospect. I have him going Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State. Now, this pick has actually blown my mind because it's a tough pick to make here. Because I did have at one point Barkley going number 1 and the Browns going quarterback at number 4. But then I go, you've been passing up on possibly 2 quarterbacks, as there could be 2 quarterbacks taken back to back. You never know what the Jets are doing. They trade up. They're the next pick here for a player. And it just makes sense here. If Barkley doesn't go 1, Giants go Barkley 2, because you put him with Odell, a healthy Odell. Quite possibly, you could also put here Dez Bryant, because Dez Bryant has rumored to want to play in the NFC East twice a year to get revenge. Saquon Barkley to me is a smart pick. Going quarterback here, I could see him going quarterback here as well, getting Eli Manning's successor. But I feel like you're going to go with the player that can play today. And that's pretty much it. Is the best player in the draft. I don't know much more you want to talk about here. That goes to number 3, and the team that picks number 3 moved up for the spot. They moved up from 6 to 3. They gave up like 10 second-round picks or something for him, and next year first. They gave up a lot of picks to move up from 6 to 3. They have really in minds of, NFL Network, and I guess kind of me, needs of cornerback and quarterback. No team's going to give up 3 second-round picks and a future pick to move up for a cornerback. I have the Jets taking here one of the most, I guess, alike player from their past franchise. I probably should move my slideshow here. Selections. If you want to take a look back in their history, they have one guy everyone thinks about as the greatest player in franchise history, and that is Joe Namath. What was Joe Namath? He was kind of cocky. He was kind of that whirly spin guy. He was that guy you can see him flashing coats out of nowhere. He was Broadway Joe. This pick here for the Jets, kind of like that. In college, he was a tad bit cocky. He was, the guy to be with. To me, I feel like he's one of the better quarterback prospects, and that guy here is going to be Baker Mayfield, quarterback out of Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football history, and it kind of makes sense to me. You can play him behind Josh McCown for a tad bit. You can play him behind Teddy Bridgewater for a tad bit. You can play him behind whichever quarterback they feel like they need to play him behind. He can learn it just a tad bit, and he can be ready to go. Put him there with the receivers of Jermaine Kearse and whatnot. I do feel like they do need to get more receiver help for him, but I do feel like this is going to be a great pick for him. It makes sense for him. If Broadway Joe can do it, I see Broadway Baker doing it as well. Now let's go to the next pick here. Picking number 4 is going to be the Cleveland Browns again. This pick here is the Houston Texans pick. Again, their needs are offensive line and now cornerback. I feel like you can go offensive line here, you can go cornerback here, you can go either one there, or you can go one of these top 3 players in the draft still available. One of the best top 3 players. You already know Saquon Barkley's off the board, and I guess you can consider like Sam Darnold top prospect or whatnot. You have to go with another top prospect here. The best player available on the board. And I have him going Bradley Chubb out of North Carolina State. You put Bradley Chubb with Myles Garrett, and that defensive line goes from below average to above average. I know Myles Garrett did have a rough year with injuries and whatnot, and he needs to bounce back here. And I see that coming this year. Same thing is going to happen when they put Bradley Chubb in here. You put him on one side of the defensive line here, and you got a force to be reckoned with. You improve offensively, you improve defensively. A pick I could see him going here could be corner, or he can be getting like Joe Thomas's replacement. But I feel like that's not much of a need right now. I feel like you should go best player available to fulfill some needs here on your defensive line and make your defense one of the most powerful, make your front seven one of the most powerful defenses in the NFL. And you hope for more out of your other parts of defense. Alright, so the first 4 picks, guys, we're going to go over them here again. I had Sam Darnold going number 1 quarterback out of USC to the Cleveland Browns. Saquon Barkley, running back out of Penn State, going number 2 to New York Giants. Baker Mayfield, quarterback out of Oklahoma, going to the New York Jets at number 3. And then I had Bradley Chubb, defensive end out of North Carolina State, going to number 4, Cleveland Browns. That puts the Denver Broncos on the board. And many people have a pick that I disagree with. A lot of mock drafts that I see have the Broncos going quarterback here. I just don't see it. I don't see the Broncos going quarterback here, as that is one of their 3 needs: offensive lineman, corner, quarterback. I don't see him taking a quarterback here. It doesn't make sense for them to go out and pay Case Keenum to play quarterback, to come in and just be a bridge quarterback. Case Keenum had a great year a year ago, and he's going into a group of players where he has 2 amazing receiver targets. Doesn't make sense. I'm going to throw quarterback out of there. Take a look at the offensive line. Yes, they could go offensive line here, but I feel like they should replace Aqib Talib in the secondary. And my pick here is going to be one of the best cornerback prospects in this year's draft, Denzel Ward out of Ohio State. I just feel like quarterback is not a need for him. Cornerback is a main need. You have Chris Harris Jr. Yes, you have some other players there. You have, I think, Bradley Roby's another player on this roster. I just feel like getting another cornerback that can develop on this roster behind one of the better corners in the league is a pretty smart choice. You're going to draft a quarterback, as many people here, many mock drafts I've seen, some of the pros that actually come out with good mock drafts come out here saying, hey, they should take Josh Allen, play quarterback here. I don't see the point of taking a quarterback here for the Broncos after you pay big money, for a quarterback in the free agent market. That is my opinion. Again, many other opinions could be here. To me, I feel like it is not necessary to take a quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Now let's move on to the 6th pick. This pick was originally owned by the New York Jets, but they just traded up with the Indianapolis Colts and required the 6th pick. And the needs for the Indianapolis Colts: offensive line, linebacker, defensive lineman. Interesting pick here. I feel like they traded down because they believe Bradley Chubb would fall here, because you have so many teams that need quarterbacks. One mock draft at one point I have configured had 3 quarterbacks going in the top 5. Okay. And that put Bradley Chubb down at 6. So with Bradley Chubb off the board, and they still have needs all over the place, they can go offensive line here. I just feel like, why do that when your defense was one of the worst defenses in the league? Defensive line, I don't see another defensive lineman that could be worthy of taking in the top 10. But I do see a linebacker or 2 that's available here in the top 10. This linebacker I have here is one of the best young athletes coming out of college football. I do believe he is coming out. I believe this guy here is either Virginia Tech. Yeah, he's out of Virginia Tech, I believe. I'm going to quickly look this up here. Yep, he is from Virginia Tech, and he's like 20 years old or something like that. He's a young prospect, has years to develop, and his name is Tremaine Edmunds. You're not getting one of the better defensive linemen in the draft, but you're getting one of the best linebackers in the draft. You're fulfilling a need. You're fulfilling, getting to the quarterback needs here. You're doing the right things here. Offensive line, I guess you can go offensive line here. You keep Andrew Luck upright. Keep him on the field. I just feel like Tremaine Edmunds is the best pick here. Better pick for him in the long run than going offensive line, because you don't know if this offensive lineman can pan out here. He could be a good college athlete, but could go in the NFL if things fail. I feel like Tremaine Edmunds, you give him just a tad bit to learn the playbook. I don't know if there's many veterans there you can learn behind or whatnot. You can bring like a veteran presence in to help him train just a tad bit, improve his game just a tad bit, and he could be the best linebacker for years to come. I just feel like this is a smart pick for the Colts to help get to the pass rush. They do have many, many more needs. They also have like 5 second-round picks while they're at it. I feel like you can get an offensive lineman in the second round. You can get another defensive lineman in the second round. You can get many players in the second round that are good quality that were meant to go in the first round. But I feel like this pick here, Tremaine Edmunds, is the right pick for him. Let's move this down here. Let's go ahead and get to the next pick on our board. And that's pick number 7, which is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And according to NFL.com, their needs: defensive lineman, cornerback, running back. I feel like this is a smart pick. If this guy is here at 7, which I hope he could be here at 7 for him, I feel like he's going to be here at 7 for him. It's a need, I feel like, that hasn't been addressed by many teams because they feel like this position is pretty well fit here. But I have him taking the best offensive lineman in this year's draft. Oh boy. What pick do I have selected? There we go. Did I have this one? This one? This one. Uh-oh. Yep, it was that one. We had to move that one back. But you already know who it is. Quentin Nelson, offensive lineman, Notre Dame. You put him up there and you can protect your franchise quarterback for years. It's an obvious pick here. You need to keep Jameis Winston healthy. You need to keep Jameis Winston upright. You need to be able to have Jameis Winston throw the ball down the field to Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Any target you have there, you need to have him upright to do it. Quentin Nelson, again, like I said, he could go into the NFL and not succeed. But in my opinion, I feel like that what happens sometimes with offensive linemen. You get offensive linemen like Joe Thomas. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime offensive lineman. And I feel like Quentin Nelson could be the offensive lineman, but you just can't really, force him into that role or do what you need to do with him. I feel like at this position in time, you should go with best player available instead of reaching on another cornerback or defensive lineman prospect, even in this case a running back prospect. Best player available seems like a right choice for him in general. At pick number 8, you have the Chicago Bears. And they had a pretty eventful offseason. They signed Taylor Gabriel. They signed Allen Robinson. They signed players to keep... they also signed Trey Burton. They signed offensive players that help the Bears succeed offensively with their young quarterback. This next pick will kind of confuse people because I feel like more people would see Quentin Nelson flying down to 8. I don't see this in the case in my mock draft. At this pick, I have him taking having him take another great player here in this year's draft. Many players consider him, originally one of the better prospects in this year's draft. He is a player off of national champion runner-up team, the runner-up in the national championship the past year, Roquan Smith. He is out of Georgia. He can play linebacker position. I don't know what position actually, linebacker position. I know on NFL.com they show him as an outside linebacker, but you can probably move him inside if you need him. But if you take a look at their linebacking core, they're kind of old in the linebacking core. I feel like this would be a great fit for them. Get younger in the linebacking core. It's really up to them at this point because you already see the best lineman off the board. Do you go ahead and try to reach on an offensive lineman? The next one I think you could think about could be like Isaiah Wynn, Mike McGlinchey, Will Hernandez, but I don't feel like those players are top 10 players. I feel like going, the best position of need you need most which is linebacker, and getting younger there with Roquan Smith. I feel like you can move like Leonard Floyd possibly to defensive end. You can have Smith playing on the outside of the linebacker positions. I think they run a 3-4, not a 4-3. So you need to find ways to make that defensive line work, that front seven work. But I feel like Roquan Smith would be a smart pick for him here. That's really my opinion. On to pick number 9. I believe this coin toss has been decided already. Picks 9 and 10 were supposed to come down to a coin toss. I think it was settled already. And I think the Niners have received that coin toss and get pick number 9. The Niners last year started off 0-10 and finished 6-0. Or they started off 1-9 and finished the year off 5-0. I know they did pretty good when Garoppolo came here. Their needs are cornerback, offensive line, defensive lineman, like I addressed with the Bears pick here. Not many players, offensive line, you can really think about at this point. There could be a couple defensive linemen you could think here at this point for the Niners. I don't know if you can really say it's really need for them right now. But Richard Sherman is, I think 29, almost 30 years old. You do need help in the secondary because Richard Sherman is literally the only prospect I think besides like Eric Reid you have there. Don't quote me on this. I just trying to think of names off the top of my head. You got Sherman, you got Eric Reid. You got 2 great prospects there. Good players there. They're not prospects anymore. And I feel like the NFL never got this right, saying cornerback, defensive back is a major need. And the one I have him going with is going to be Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's right now classified as a defensive back that hasn't been selected to an actual position out of Alabama. At one point, Minkah Fitzpatrick was considered a top 5 draft pick. He's dropped down to 9. You can put him there. You can put him outside cornerback number 2. You can put him at safety. You can have him learn from one of the best corners in the league in Richard Sherman. Minkah Fitzpatrick, you either take him or you don't. Because I do see a couple defensive linemen they could take here. You could go down. You can go. I'm looking down here at my wonderful notebook here. I took notes down. I took down everyone's team needs. I have whatnot. And at this point, I could see him taking. You could take a defensive tackle. I don't know about that one. And I can see him taking possibly another defensive lineman here. I have down my list here. But I feel like going ahead and getting a defensive back, you can play him at corner, you can play him at safety. Kind of like Jalen Ramsey when he came out, but I want to put him in the Jalen Ramsey-esque type of player position. We're going to finish out the top 10 here with pick number 10. And as the 10th pick, you have the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders need some safety help, they need some cornerback help, they need some defensive line help. The best safety is still on the board. No other real team need a safety prospect, probably besides the Browns, but we ain't going to talk about that at this point right now. The Oakland Raiders would be dumb if they don't take this prospect right here. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you because you already obviously know it if you follow the NFL draft. And that is Derwin James, safety out of Florida State. Derwin James, to me, if you go ahead and draft him at pick number 10, you succeeded in this year's draft. You're getting one of the, like I said, one of the best safeties in this year's draft, and you're not really missing on anything else. I guess quarterback, you're falling into that range. You have corners could go from 10 to 32 here at any point in this period. You have many players that can see that can go here other than Derwin James. But you do have that gaping need in this secondary, which is safety. And I think you drafted Carlos Joseph a couple years ago. I don't remember how well he panned out. But I don't know if he's panned out or not. But if you add Derwin James, I feel like Derwin James is, again, any point here. Now let's go ahead and take a look here. Let's talk about possible trades that could be made here. I don't think anyone's trading down pick 1 through 5. I think those teams are going to stay put. But pick 6 through 10 are teams that don't need quarterbacks. And I feel like if a team wants to trade up because they really like a quarterback prospect, they're going to trade up because you have to take a look at the teams that need quarterbacks. The teams that need quarterbacks, I wouldn't really put them in need a quarterback, but they do need a quarterback in my guess. If you want to look, you have the Dolphins, you have the Bills, you have the Cardinals, you have the Chargers, you have the Patriots, Saints. I mean, you could put Pittsburgh in that boat. I mean, you could put Denver could trade back into the first round. I mean, you have a lot of teams here. And any of those teams I could see trading up with picks between 6 through 10. Colts through Raiders in this point here in the draft. I don't see any other team, you know, trading. Why did I drop 6-1 phrase? Trading up for a quarterback position at that point. Speaking of picks, number 11 on down to 12, on down to, right now let's go 11 through 20 here. We'll try to pick things up here as it's been live for half an hour. At pick number 11, we have the Miami Dolphins, and their needs are corner, tight end, quarterback. I said they were one of the teams that needed a quarterback, and you're looking at one of the most NFL-rated quarterbacks here. You do have a quarterback on their roster that will be coming off injury. If they feel like quarterback's in need, they should take this quarterback here. Josh Rosen, UCLA. I feel like if you really address quarterback as a need for the Miami Dolphins and you're Miami Dolphins GM, you're going to take one of the better, most ready-to-go quarterbacks in this year's draft. That's what I'm going to say. That's where I'm going, where you can see teams 6 or 10 trade down and acquire more draft picks because you don't know whenever a team would need a quarterback. In this case, I feel like the Dolphins would be one of the first teams out of the top 3. I guess you can say top 5 that don't really need a quarterback because, you know, 2/3 of the top, 2/5 of the top 5 are owned by one team. Yeah, I feel like you can say the Bills can move up at this point. You never know. And if Josh Rosen's still available, I would take Josh Rosen if I were the Dolphins. Moving on to pick number 12. The team, you know, that first started the debate of moving up were the Buffalo Bills. And at this point, you see 3 quarterback prospects off the board. You might as well take a quarterback. And that's Josh Allen out of Wyoming. You kind of settled at this point. Again, I didn't really make a trade here in this top part because I feel like it'd be kind of tough to do because I feel like some of these teams will be like, we need more and more. The Bills do have 2 first-round picks, so they wouldn't be really trading on the first round. They'll be demanding for more because I feel like these teams here later on, here in the first 10 picks, will be like, we don't want to miss on this prospect. We don't want to miss on this prospect. We need this prospect. We like more out of your value here. And I feel like the Bills won't give that up. So they'll miss on 3 out of the, you know, best quarterbacks you think here the futures to come when they don't take trade up. And I feel like Josh Allen, I mean, you don't really have a quarterback there in Buffalo for him to sit behind. Do I feel like he should be someone that should be rushed out there? No. But again, you got to take the best quarterback available. Unless you want to take Lamar Jackson at that point. He does kind of fit the need, but I don't feel like Lamar Jackson is a top 15 quarterback in this year's draft. Top 20, at me later about it. At pick number 13, we have the Washington Redskins, and I have them taking the next best defensive player in the next, I guess, one of the top defensive tackles in the year's draft, Vita Vea out of Washington. Fill a need on a defensive line. I know in the last year they took Jonathan Allen, and I don't know if what has been wrong with him. I think it was battling injury or whatnot. get Vita Valle. You can play them on the defensive line together. That's why I have much there. Don't have much after that. At pick number 14, we have the Green Bay Packers. They had an interesting offseason. Their quarterback just literally went and met the Dalai Lama. Here at pick number 14, I have him taking a player. I don't know if this kind of makes sense as you have some cornerback prospects still sitting there, but I feel like you need to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, and you have him taking Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, out of Alabama. That fits a need after you let go of Jordy Nelson. You get younger in the receiving core. He could be your outside receiver number 2 with Devontae Adams. You put Cobb in the slot, and you keep Rodgers happy because you have 4 prospects who can throw the ball down the field to, and a young running back core you can hand the ball off to. And number 15 was another team that could take a quarterback here, but do I see him taking a quarterback in the future? The answer is no. You know, each draft kind of gets a receiver run going, and I have that happening here. I have when the Cardinals take DJ Moore, wide receiver out of Maryland. He's kind of that under the radar type player. I feel like this would be a great addition. Have him learn from one of the greatest receivers in NFL history, Larry Fitzgerald, on how to play the game. You get some prospects here. You get a receiver for Sam Bradford to throw to. DJ Moore, I feel like, would be a great position pickup here, as a receiver is one of their top needs. It is actually their top need here. The receiver run starts, if you want to say that. At pick number 16, you have the Baltimore Ravens. Let's quickly talk about their need. They're another team that you could say need a receiver, but I don't see them taking a receiver here. They need offensive line, linebacker, and tight end. The Baltimore Ravens, I have them selecting a player of need here to keep your, big money player upright. And that's gonna be Mike McGlinchey out of Notre Dame. Keep Joe Flacco on the field. I know he did have had an injury last year that he missed a couple games with. I feel like if you get the offensive line a little bit more sturdy, Joe Flacco would be worth that $100-something million contract he gave him a couple years ago. I wouldn't classify him as elite because he's not an elite quarterback, but I feel like you would keep him upright at this point. At pick number 17, another team you could classify needing a quarterback. The Los Angeles Chargers. Their needs are, according to NFL.com, their number 1 needs quarterback. You take a look here, linebacker and offensive lineman. The player I have them taking here is going to be the position need here, not quarterback, because I don't see another quarterback here really taken at this point fit their scheme. I have taken Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State here, a linebacker. Go along with your great cornerback set, your great secondary in general. Improve this defense with this pick here, and the offensive line that is young, and the receiving core that's young, the running back that's young. You can get Phillip Rivers back to the playoffs with this pick here in the future. I'm talking this year future. At pick number 18, you have the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks have had some pretty interesting offseason moves, trading away Michael Bennett, releasing Richard Sherman. You have players who don't know if they're coming back or not. This pick here, I feel like will replace one of those players here. I have him taking Harlan Reynolds out of Boston College. Sorry, Harlan Landry out of Boston College. You put him in the defensive line. At this point, he's kind of one of the best players available on the board, other than like a wide receiver or something. I feel like you take Harlan Landry here, you're going to get that defensive line a little bit more sturdy and ready to go. That puts us at pick number 19. At pick number 19, you have the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys need receiver help now. After letting go Des Bryant, they originally do need some linebacker help and defensive line help. You do see, there could be 1 or 2 receivers that could blow their mind here. I do have them taking receiver at this pick. I have them taking Cortland Sutton of SMU. I can see him taking Christian Kirk here. But I feel like Sutton would be more of a pick for him more of that bigger body guy, you can put him alongside is Allen Robinson and what's the other guy's name? He's from Jacksonville. They signed another receiver out of Jacksonville. You put him there, you put him with Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams. I feel like you have a pretty good receiving core then, and you still have Jason Witten. I don't think he's announced retirement or anything. Pretty good at that point. We'll move on to pick number 20. And that's the Detroit Lions. And their needs are as follows: running back, tight end, defensive line. I can see him taking a running back here. Tight end, kind of questionable, because I know they've taken tight ends in the first round. They haven't panned out in the past. Defensive line, I can see him taking as well. At this pick here, I have the Detroit Lions taking Daron Payne out of Alabama. That fulfills a defensive line need. Put him along Ezekiel Ansah. I don't really know a defensive line here in Detroit. I know they have Darius Slay in the secondary. I guess you could put cornerback down as a need for him in the secondary. But I feel like they should take Daron Payne here, improve that defensive line to wreak havoc on, some great quarterbacks they have to go against here in the NFC North. Actually, before we announce pick number 21, let's go over picks 11 through 20 again. Number 11 was the Miami Dolphins. I have them taking Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA. At pick 12, we have the Buffalo Bills. I have them taking quarterback Josh Allen out of Wyoming. At pick 13, we have the Washington Redskins. I have them taking Vita Vea out of Washington, defensive tackle. At pick 14, you have the Green Bay Packers. I have them taking Calvin Ridley, wide receiver out of Alabama. At pick 15, you had the Cardinals. I have them taking DJ Moore, receiver out of Maryland. At pick 16, you have the Baltimore Ravens. I have them taking Mike McGlinchey, offensive lineman out of Notre Dame. At pick 17, you have the Los Angeles Chargers. I have them taking Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State. Don't quote me on that one. I feel like he cannot be a QB somewhere else. Not really sure. At pick number 18, I have the Seahawks taking Harlan Landry out of Boston College. Again, don't quote me on that one either. At pick number 19, you have the Dallas Cowboys. I have them taking receiver Courtland Sutton out of SMU. And at pick number 20, I had the Detroit Lions taking Daron Payne, defensive lineman, out of Alabama. That puts us into the most interesting part of my draft, picks 21 through 32. The rest of the draft. And things are going to get pretty interesting here, in my opinion. At pick 21, you had the Cincinnati Bengals. They traded down, they got some offensive line help. Was it enough? No. They still need some offensive line help. They also could use a linebacker or a defensive lineman here. But I have them taking Will Hernandez, offensive lineman out of UTEP. Pretty interesting pick here. Actually, let's quickly go back to the Lions pick here. They can also take Marcus Davenport out of UTSA. I forgot about that prospect actually when I was making my mock draft. Too late to go back. But I feel like if he wanted to be taken, I could see him taken anywhere between 14 and 32 and on here in the draft. But let's go back to Will Hernandez. This is a pick of need here. You gotta take pretty much a need. And that has offensive line here. They don't take this pick here. I feel like Andy Dalton's not going to succeed to get the ball down the field to John Ross, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Eifert. Any of those players there in Cincinnati, he needs to get the ball down the field to. At pick number 22, you have the Buffalo Bills picking again. We went over their needs earlier, but I feel like we can go over them again. They addressed one of them, and it was quarterback. They need receiver help, they need offensive line help. And at pick number 22, I have them filling one of those needs. I have them taking Christian Kirk out of Texas A&M. Kirk and Moore are two of the underrated receivers in this year's draft. I feel like they need to be thought about more. I have them being thought about more here. I have them being top 25 picks in my draft. I feel like this need here, if you're gonna take Josh Allen, you need to have you need to have a receiver there. I mean, with I think with Zay Jones having legal troubles, and that's actually pretty much it there. Jordan Matthews is no longer there. Actually, where did Jordan Matthews go? New England. Yeah. Without Jordan Matthews there, you really don't have much of receivers there. So I feel like you take Christian Kirk here, you fulfill a receiver need, and you possibly have your targets for the future for Josh Allen, as he will need them. At pick number 23, this pick was acquired via trade with the Los Angeles Rams. In that trade, the Patriots gave up Brandon Cooks, and they received the 23rd overall pick. And with this pick, I have the next quarterback prospect going off the board. This quarterback prospect is one of the most top quarterback prospects in the league, and this guy here is Lamar Jackson. I feel like you draft Lamar Jackson, and if Tom Brady does decide, because he hasn't really decided if he's coming back yet in 2018, he hasn't made it like, hey, I'm coming back. I feel like taking quarterback would be the right choice here. After trading away your future franchise quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, taking Lamar Jackson and what he could be is a smart choice here. I guess you could throw receiver now into the picture here at number 23. As the only receivers I have on the roster, Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, Jordan Matthews, no one really flashy. They do have Gronk, an aging Gronk. They do have players here. I feel like at number 23, the Patriots should go and get a quarterback. And Lamar Jackson's the one I have them taking. At pick number 24, we have the Carolina Panthers. And they really need to improve on their secondary. That's why I have them taking Mike Hughes out of UCF, University of Central Florida, the true NCAA champions last year. This guy here, you can pair him up with whoever you have in the secondary. I don't really think they have much in the secondary there. Getting Mike Hughes is a huge fill here. I wouldn't call him like Josh Norman-esque, but he could have a huge impact year one for the Carolina Panthers. Let's move on to pick number 25. And with the 25th pick, you have the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans had a pretty good year ago. And I feel like there's a prospect we're seeing here. No one has, called his name yet. He was considered to go in the top 10 at one point. His name, oh boy, when did I just move? Josh Jackson. You put him alongside, who did they take a year ago? It's a guy at USC. You put him with him, whatever his name was, drawing a blank right now, you have a pretty good quarterback group there. Secondary's improving. This team's improving everywhere. You have a great year. You have a stepping up from Corey Davis. I feel like this Titan team will be a team to be reckoned with for years to come. Get ready for pick number 26, guys. And that puts the Atlanta Falcons on the board. If I were the Atlanta Falcons GM, I'd be sitting here right now going, we do have a tad bit of needs But do I feel like these needs are ready to be addressed? Do I see us addressing these needs here? I don't really see anybody here. This pick could look pretty good to someone else. Let's hopefully see someone bring here. Fire them. And I hear that phone ring. I pick up that phone and be like, hello. What can I help you with, guys? And, they'll be like, we want your pick. And they'll be like, okay. I'll tell them the, price for it. And I do believe the Falcons are going to trade out of this pick. I don't think this pick is going to belong to the Falcons anymore. Not a single bit. I see this pick being acquired by the Arizona Cardinals. Alright. That's my opinion. And now let's get into the mindset of the Arizona Cardinals. GM. We just traded up to 26. We gave up a future, possibly a future first. We gave up our second round pick. We gotta make this pick count. Because you don't know what's going on at beginning of that second round. Because you could look at the second round. This is a quarterback need team we're talking about here. Trading up to 26. You take a look at the quarterbacks left on the board. No real flashy names are left on the board. You take a look here at the teams left on the board here in the first round. The New Orleans Saints need a quarterback. Pittsburgh Steelers could think about taking a quarterback. Jacksonville Jaguars, not really thinking quarterback. Minnesota Vikings just signed an $84 million guaranteed contract with quarterback. New England Patriots drafted a quarterback. Philadelphia Eagles have a quarterback. Take a look at the beginning of the second round. You have the Cleveland Browns drafted a quarterback. Then you have the New York Giants need a quarterback. You take a look here and you see there are 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 teams that could take a quarterback here. You could be like, we just traded up. We weren't really thinking of what we could really take here. We just traded up because we feel like we should, draft another receiver or something. But you really get into that mindset, you really go, there's another quarterback prospect out there that could be worth taking. Oh, you could also put Broncos could take a quarterback. I'm going to quickly close out this PowerPoint, guys. I'm actually going to pull this up here. I'll allow you to see my stream health. Bad out. Okay, perfect. You take a look. 20... hang on, probably might help. 2018 NFL Draft Order. Go here. Okay. You go ahead and hopefully it loads here. It's loading. Bright screen. Be aware. It is really blinding me right now. Actually, I don't think that's the one we want to look at. Maybe we want to look at this one here. And because this is actually vital information here. That doesn't full order. Here we go. Close this window up. Again, take a look here. Second round. After you take a look here at the first round. Cleveland got a quarterback. Could use a quarterback. You're looking between your pick here at 47. Denver could use a quarterback. You're thinking here. Oh, you can also say, look, Washington could use a quarterback. Cincinnati could use a quarterback. Because you get into the second round, they could take quarterback prospects. They don't have to worry about that fifth-year guarantee. You're taking a look here and you're seeing all these teams here that need a quarterback. Let's count them here. Let's go over them again. I know you guys kind of missed this part. New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville if they don't feel comfortable with Blake Bortles. Minnesota doesn't need one. New England doesn't need one. Philadelphia doesn't need one. So there's 3 possibly in a row. Take a look at the beginning of the second round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There could be 5 people before you pick here in the second round that need a quarterback. And you could possibly let this quarterback prospect go. The player I have taken here is a pretty interesting player prospect. I'm going to go ahead and pop him on the screen now for you guys to see. He is going to the Arizona Cardinals, and it's going to be quarterback Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State. He does need a tap out of development, yes. But do I see him fitting in Arizona? Yes. With the receiver you just took, you don't know how many more years Larry Fitzgerald can play. He can play a year or 2. You only have Sam Bradford on a 1-year contract. You only have Mike Glennon on a 1-year contract. You could possibly still have the help from Bruce Arians. You have all these pieces here to develop a quarterback. Sam Bradford, literally 2 years ago, set the passer rating record. For the best passer rating. At pick 26, I see the Arizona Cardinals trading up because there's 8 teams that could take a quarterback. I see him taking Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State. To me, Mason Rudolph would be considered a first-round prospect. I have him late first, early second. Fits in this range of 26 on down here in the draft. I see him average from 26, I guess, to 47 in this year's draft. If the Cardinals were to do this trade, it would make a lot of sense for them to go with Mason Rudolph at this point. Any questions? Ask them in the comments section below. Let's move on to 27. Now, at 27, this was a team that did need a quarterback. That quarterback's off the board. You take a look at another need. Receiver help. Okay, or tight end. Again, tight end's kind of a bit questionable. I do see possibly one tight end going here in the first round. I don't have him on my mock draft, but there could be a tight end or 2 that can go in the first round. With the quarterback being gone, you do have blatant need as receiver number 2. I have the Saints taking James Washington out of Oklahoma State. 2 players out of Oklahoma State going back to back here. Washington, you hear out of, we're in the Big 12 is pretty much teams that just, run streaks and throw the ball downfield. I feel like James Washington is more of a player. He's kind of a special player here. I see him being the 4th receiver taken here in the first round. I see him because I do consider him as a top 5 receiver. I believe James Washington, in my opinion, will be there available for him. I see him being taken. I see him playing well as receiver number 2 here in New Orleans. Why do I see him going here at number 27? Take a look at the receiving core. You have you have Mike. Oh, I'm drawing a blank here. I literally draft this guy in a fantasy league. I drafted Mike Thomas. That's your one. And you have Ted Ginn Jr. He's aging. There was a guy you took a couple of years ago in the, I don't think it was like a first round pick. It was like a second or third round pick. He was a speedster. In the year you took Brandon Cooks. You have it was Coleman, something Coleman. Do I really see any other receivers there? No. This pick here is a smart pick. You're taking one of the top receivers available in this year's draft, and you're putting him there with Drew Brees. He has 2 years left there. I don't see another quarterback that's first round worthy after a trade being made. Here we go. The Saints, you're taking James Washington. I feel like you should take James Washington at this pick. Congratulations, James Washington. You go from an early second round pick to a late first round pick in my book. There you go. That puts the Pittsburgh Steelers here at number 28. They need safety help. They need receiver help. They need linebacker help. I don't really see anyone there on my board for them to take besides this linebacker, Rashaan Evans, Alabama, I do believe. You don't know what's going on with Ryan Shazier and his injury. You take care of that need there, right there, with that guy there. We'll hurry things up here as it's getting on to an hour. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars picking at 29. I could see him taking one or two players here. I see him possibly take a receiver or an offensive lineman. If you want to keep Blake Bortles looking like Blake Bortles in the playoffs, you take this offensive lineman here. If you want to see him succeed during the regular season, you take a receiver here. They are missing out on 2 receivers. They let go of Allen Robinson, signed with the Bears, and they cut or didn't sign a receiver. It was Allen Robinson and someone else there. Allen, I think his name started with an A. I think it was Allen something as well. You could take this prospect here. You could take a receiver here. That's really up here because I think more receivers now falling into that, very, very late. It's part of the draft first round, early second to second, early second to second, from second to third, late from second to late second to early third. The receivers going down the list now are becoming a little bit less and less interesting. I have him taking Colton Miller out of UCLA. I have him fulfilling a need on offensive line and keeping Blake Bortles healthy. Let's move on. We have 3 picks left. Let's move on to number 30. We have the Minnesota Vikings. They just guaranteed $84 million to a quarterback. Good for them. At pick number 30, I have them taking Jaire Alexander. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Out of Louisville. I believe he was injured this past year, so you have to look at his 2016 tape. You put him there. Cornerback number 2 is kind of a question mark there in Minnesota. I don't know if Angels wonder Terrence Stimson has retired yet or not. I don't think you can really put, Trey Waynes there. You can put Mackenzie Alexander there at number 2. I feel like you put him with Xavier Rhodes. You kind of have a cornerback trio there. You can fill in Waynes, you can fill in Newman, you can fill in whoever needs to be there at that time. Let's move on to 31. This pick could go either way again. I don't know where that went. Oh, why isn't it showing up? Oh, because it's locked. Duh. There we go. I have him taking quarterback help here. I have him taking Isaiah Oliver. I do believe he's out of Colorado. This is filling a need. You got possibly your quarterback in the future. You need a cornerback on the roster, as you really don't have a cornerback on the roster. But that's a big name or anything. As you let Malcolm Butler walk, or whatnot. Let's move on here to pick number 32. That is your defending Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. And they need running back, tight end help, cornerback help. Again, I said there could be a tight end that can go late first. I have them really feeling a need here, running back. They let LeGarrette Blount go, and they had an amazing running back trio a year ago. At this pick, I have them taking Darius Jice. out of LSU. You're taking the really interesting prospect, as you can see a lot of running backs go here in day 2. But I feel like Darius Jice is not actually fringe mid first round pick. My opinion, you're kind of getting a steal here for a team that really needs some play. It doesn't have much needs, as they just won the Super Bowl. So a quick recap here. We'll go ahead and do either a full draft recap, or we'll go ahead and just do picks 26 through 20 through 32. We'll go ahead and do picks 20 through 32 here. 21 through 32. At 21, you had the Cincinnati Bengals. I have them taking Will Hernandez out of UTEP. At 22, you have the Buffalo Bills. I have them taking Christian Kirk out of Texas A&M. At 23, I had the New England Patriots via trade from the Rams. I have them taking Lamar Jackson out of Louisville. At pick number 24, you have the Carolina Panthers. I have them taking Mike Hughes out of University of Central Florida. At pick 25, you have the Tennessee Titans. I have them taking Josh Jackson out of Iowa. At pick 26, I have one of the only predicted trade here in the first round of the NFL Draft with the Arizona Cardinals and the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons trading out of the first round with the Cardinals, and I have the Cardinals taking Mason Rudolph. Quarterback out of Oklahoma State. At 27, you have a quarterback needy team. Really upset because they could have possibly took a quarterback there. You have the New Orleans Saints taking James Washington out of Oklahoma State. At pick 29, you have... Sorry, at pick 28, you have Pittsburgh Steelers taking Rashad Evans out of Alabama. You have at pick number 29, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have them taking Colton Miller, offensive lineman out of UCLA. And at pick number 30, you have the Minnesota Vikings. I have them taking Jareer Alexander out of Louisville. And at pick number 31, I have the New England Patriots again taking a cornerback out of Colorado, Isaiah Oliver. And at pick number 32, you have the defending Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, taking the best available player on the board besides Marcus Davenport, because I forgot about him at that moment in time. Darius Jice out of LSU. Go ahead and leave your comments in the comment section below if you do believe that my mock draft was a tad bit iffy. I mean, I did forget a prospect there. My bad. But I feel like it's a pretty good mock draft in my opinion. I do see a lot of teams fulfilling needs here in this year's mock draft. My mock draft. It's going to be pretty interesting in exactly 8 days. Actually, now it's down to 7 days, 23 hours, 2 minutes to the draft. I can't wait for that. I think I'm going to be ordering my Packer draft cap tomorrow. To have it hopefully here by draft day. I do plan to have a stream next week, Thursday. Pre-draft stream and a whole pick-by-pick analysis here. I hope NFL Network has like a pick tracker or something, so I don't have to like display the actual draft. I might have the actual draft displayed on the screen. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, could be pretty interesting here. The future is ahead for many young players. I, wish the best to them. If you did enjoy this here wonderful live stream / video for people who are watching after I live streamed it, go ahead and leave a like on it. Comment down in the comment section below if you have like any opinions on my picks, or whatnot. Also, comment down in the comment section whatever you want. Go ahead and do leave a subscribe and turn the notification bells on, because like I said, we'll be, doing kind of that, this pick happened live stream next Thursday. That probably be starting like, I don't know, probably 6:30. Get an hour pregame, talk about my mock draft again. Pretty interesting. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope I see some people in my draft next week Thursday. Peace.